All right, so we're diving into this essay today, BSC AI, Spain's AI Factory by Jörg-Owe. And I think it's safe to say that, our listeners are really interested in the whole AI and supercomputing scene, especially when we can look at it through like an ethical lens.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like Schneppat is really, he's positioning the BSC as not just about the technology itself, but about Spain kind of wanting to be a major player in, this trustworthy AI.
Yeah, it's not just about, being on the cutting edge. It's about being on the cutting edge responsibly. And Schneppat really lays out how the BSC is trying to do that. And this isn't, some new startup. They've been around since 2005.
Yeah.
They've been a driving force in research and tech in Spain and internationally.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's like they're hitting the accelerator, especially with their work in quantum computing. The BSC is at the center of building the first public quantum computer in Southern Europe.
Right.
And that's a huge development. And Schneppat really emphasizes that.
When you think about the potential, it's kind of mind-blowing. But let's get into the heart of it. The BSC AI Factory.
Yeah.
Schneppat really dives into this initiative, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, the AI Factory is this massive collaborative effort between Spain, Portugal, Turkey, and Romania. And what's really fascinating is they all have this shared vision to make Europe a leader in AI, but with a really strong emphasis on trustworthiness.
So they're not just chasing the latest algorithms, they're building an entire ecosystem for responsible AI development.
Exactly.
And Schneppat breaks down the services. They offer advisory services to help organizations figure out, this whole complex world of AI. They offer access to supercomputers, which is a huge barrier for smaller organizations.
Right.
And even training programs to build up the workforce.
Yeah.
It's a comprehensive approach.
Yeah, and this focus on responsible AI is everywhere you look. They even have this high-level checklist that they developed to guide researchers on using data ethically.
Wow.
And Schneppat really highlights that as a key example of their commitment.
It's not just theoretical either. No.
Schneppat brings up their flood forecasting system, which is using AI to protect over 460 million people across 80 countries.
It's incredible.
That's real-world impact.
Yeah, they're tackling these global challenges head on.
Absolutely. And to do that, they're partnering with some pretty big names. Schneppat mentions NVIDIA and Fujitsu.
Yeah.
And these aren't just we had a meeting and shook hands agreements. They're actually working on some pretty cutting-edge projects in personalized medicine and optimizing software for supercomputers. It seems like they're really thinking long-term.
Yeah.
Schneppat even mentions this MareNostrum 5 supercomputer getting this massive AI-powered upgrade in 2025.
Oh, wow.
This thing's going to be a beast.
One of the most powerful systems in the world dedicated to developing these large-scale AI models. Talk about ambition.
Yeah, I think that's what struck me the most is that Schneppat isn't just describing a research center. He's painting this picture of Spain, led by the BSC, aiming to be a global force in ethical AI. They're not just building technology, they're trying to shape how AI is developed and used in the future.
Right. And I think that ties back to why this deep dive is so relevant for our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just about understanding the tech. It's about understanding how these initiatives, especially this focus on ethics, could inspire other similar efforts around the world. So we've got this big picture overview now. Let's unpack those services that Schneppat details. I think that'll give us a better idea of how the AI Factory is actually trying to achieve its goals.
Yeah, let's dive into that. Schneppat starts by talking about their advisory and support services, and it goes beyond just giving technical advice. They're actually helping organizations explain these complex AI processes to the people who will actually be affected by them, which is huge for building trust and transparency.
It makes you wonder why more organizations aren't focusing on some things. It seems so obvious, but Schneppat really highlights how the BSC is making it a priority.
Yeah.
And they're not just talking about it. They're actively helping organizations navigate the EU AI Act, which is a pretty major piece of legislation. They're making sure that organizations aren't just building AI that works, but AI that's ethical and compliant.
Yeah.
It's about setting a new standard.
Exactly.
Okay. So advice is one thing, but Schneppat goes on to say, they're putting their money where their mouth is by giving organizations access to their advanced computational infrastructure, including those AI-optimized supercomputers.
And that's a game changer, especially for smaller companies that wouldn't normally have that kind of power.
Right.
It really levels the playing field. But what's really clever is they don't stop there. They're even helping with procuring other equipment, which can save a lot of money. They're removing as many barriers as possible.
Yeah. And then there's the training piece. Schneepat mentions their programs that cover everything from algorithms to deep learning, but it's not just theoretical. It's very hands-on, so people can actually apply what they're learning.
Yeah.
It's like an AI boot camp, but with the job placement program built in.
Yeah. They're really investing in the future AI workforce, which is crucial if they want to create this sustainable ecosystem.
So we've got advisory services, infrastructure access, and training programs. It's like they've thought of everything.
Well, almost everything. Schneepat also points out that they focus on project development and collaboration, where they put all these pieces together to solve real problems.
Ah, yes. This is where it gets interesting. Schneepat talks about how they're partnering with universities and private companies to develop these collaborative projects, and it's a win-win for everybody. Universities get to see their research applied in the real world. Companies get access to cutting-edge talent and ideas. But what stood out to me is how this experience helps build those analytical and teamwork skills that are so essential in AI.
It's like they're creating this pipeline of talent where people not only have the technical skills, but also the collaborative mindset to actually thrive in the field.
Okay, so we've got a good sense of the BSC's overall approach. They're offering advice tools, training a platform for collaboration.
Right.
But Schneepat keeps coming back to this idea of responsible AI. It's like their guiding principle.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's not just about building powerful AI. It's about building AI that people can trust.
Right.
And that's something that's reflected in every aspect of their work.
Now, I'm curious to dig deeper into this BSC AI factory itself.
Okay.
Schneepat spends a considerable amount of time on this initiative, and I think it deserves its own little deep dive.
Yeah.
What exactly is the BSC AI factory?
So at its core, it's this ambitious collaborative project, not just within Spain, but across Europe, with Portugal, Turkey, and Romania all playing key roles. They're all working together to build and operate this advanced AI-enabled computing infrastructure.
So it's not just about research. It's about building the infrastructure to support the entire AI innovation ecosystem. That's a bold move.
It is, and Schneepat lays out their main objectives. You know, automating and industrializing AI development, mastering data management, and developing a suite of AI services that are tailored to different sectors.
So it sounds like they're aiming for a future where creating and managing AI models is streamlined and efficient, almost like an assembly line.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not forgetting the data piece. Schneepat emphasizes that it all starts with collecting, centralizing, cleaning, and labeling data, which is crucial for training effective AI models.
Yeah, it's like they're laying the foundation for this whole new era of AI development, and then they're building on top of that foundation with this toolbox of AI services that anyone can use.
Yeah.
Businesses, startups, even public administrations. It's about democratizing access to AI.
So the BSC AI Factory is this incredibly ambitious collaborative effort to build the infrastructure, the services, and ultimately the future of AI. And they're doing it all with a focus on responsible AI. That's a potent combination.
It is, and now it's important to understand how this initiative actually fits into the larger AI landscape. You know, Schneepat highlights how the BSC AI Factory aligns with some key European Commission reports and initiatives, specifically the reports on generative AI and the Draghi report, which emphasize the need for a robust AI infrastructure, especially in crucial sectors like science, medicine, and sustainability.
So they're not just building for today, they're building for the future needs of the European AI landscape.
Exactly.
And they've got some serious backing. Schneepat mentions the European Commission is investing a whopping 580 million euros into the high-performance supercomputer network, or Euro-HPC-GU.
Wow.
That's a clear sign they believe in this vision.
Yeah, with that kind of investment and a launch date of 2025, the BSC AI Factory has the potential to really be a game changer, not just for Spain, but for the entire European Union. Schneepat suggests it could play a crucial role in developing ethical AI technologies that align with European values and shaping the direction of AI on a global scale.
Like a bold vision.
That is.
But the BSC seems to have the resources, the partnerships, and the commitment to actually pull it off. But the AI Factory isn't the only way they're making an impact. Schneepat goes on to discuss the wider impact of the BSC's work, and I think it's worth exploring that further.
I agree. It's one thing to have ambitious goals.
Right.
But Schneepat gives some pretty compelling examples of how the BSC is already making a difference.
Yeah, Schneepat really drives home this idea that in the world of AI, collaboration is key. You know, it's not just about, individuals being brilliant. It's about having these global networks that are pushing the boundaries together.
Yeah, and the BSC seems to really get that Schneepat goes through a whole list of their partnerships, and it's pretty impressive. He starts with Indra, which is this Spanish tech giant.
Right.
What's interesting is how Schneepat frames this partnership. It's not just about advancing AI. It's about this idea of like European strategic autonomy. Right. So Europe wants to be a leader in AI, but they want to do it on their own terms without being dependent on other global powers. And this partnership with Indra, with a focus on things like simulation and modeling and hardware development, is linked to some major European tech initiatives, including defense systems like the Next Generation Weapon System and that Future Combat Air System program.
So it's about national security, too.
Yeah.
That adds a whole other layer to the BSC's work. But the Indra partnership is just the beginning. Schneepat also highlights their collaboration with NVIDIA, which is one of the biggest names in AI.
Yeah, this partnership is all about merging supercomputing with AI, and Schneepat points out that it's a 5-year collaboration, so they're clearly in it for the long haul. They're focusing on large language models, applications for climate change and meteorology, and optimizing software for NVIDIA's supercomputing hardware.
So they're covering all the bases from fundamental AI research to addressing these pressing global challenges. But what I found really interesting is their partnership with Fujitsu, which is a Japanese tech company, and Schneepat focuses on 2 very specific areas here: personalized medicine and quantum computing.
Oh, wow. Those are 2 fields with huge potential, and it seems like the BSC and Fujitsu are a great match. You know, the BSC has that supercomputing power and expertise in data analysis, while Fujitsu is a leader in healthcare technology. It's a perfect synergy for advancing personalized medicine, which basically means tailoring treatments to each patient's unique needs.
Right. And then there's the quantum computing piece. Schneepat says that they'll be using quantum simulation to further their research in personalized medicine. That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's like they're combining the most cutting-edge technologies to completely revolutionize healthcare.
It's clear that the BSC is not afraid to push the boundaries, and Schneepat points out that all of these partnerships are part of a bigger trend, creating what he calls these ecosystems of excellence. It's about bringing together the best minds and resources to achieve something truly remarkable.
And the BSC is in a prime position to really be a leader in that movement.
Right.
They have the computational power, the expertise, and the connections to bring together all of these diverse ecosystems.
But it's not all about quiet research and development behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Schneepat also highlights the recognition that the BSC is getting for its work.
Yeah.
Which is well-deserved.
Yeah, he mentions the MIT Inclusive Innovation Award, which is a pretty big deal. It recognizes their efforts to make the tech landscape more inclusive, and it's not just lip service, they're actually putting it into action.
Yeah, Schneepat gives the example of their Gold Award from Mass Challenge, which is a global network for innovators.
Right.
And they received this award for their AI-driven solutions that are helping to create better opportunities for blue-collar workers.
That's amazing.
That's actually making a difference.
Yeah, it shows they're thinking about the impact of their work.
Yeah.
You know, not just the technological advancements, but the societal impact as well.
Absolutely. And Schneepat also points out their involvement in the AI4EU Ethical Observatory and the AI4EU Foundation,
Right.
which further solidifies their commitment to ethical AI. It's like they're trying to build a better future one where AI is a force for good in all aspects of society. But what about the future of the BSC itself?
Yeah.
What does Schneepat say about their future prospects?
Well, he seems pretty optimistic, suggesting that they have these ambitious plans to really cement themselves as a global leader in AI. Specifically, he talks about their proposal to upgrade the MareNostrum 5 supercomputer, which is already incredibly powerful, with advanced AI accelerator technology that's specifically designed for developing large-scale generative AI models.
So they're not just resting on their laurels, they're actively pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Exactly, and this upgrade is set to be fully operational by the end of 2025.
Wow.
So we're going to be seeing the results of this ambition very soon.
Yeah. Schneepat ties this back to the bigger picture, saying that as part of a Europe-wide strategy to make the continent a global powerhouse for ethical and responsible AI. It's like they're trying to set a new standard for the world.
Yeah, it's this really interesting question of ethics.
Right.
You know, Europe is pushing for innovation, but not at the expense of its values. They want to ensure that AI is being used for good without exacerbating inequalities.
It's a tough balancing act, but one that the BSC seems committed to. And Schneepat emphasizes the need for collaboration between the public and private sectors to achieve these goals. It's not just about the technology. It's about the people using it and how they're using it.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to the crucial role of education and research.
Yeah.
Schneepat argues that we need to invest in training AI experts and creating more opportunities in this field to ensure that future generations can thrive in an AI-driven world.
Yeah, it's not just about building the machines, it's about building the workforce that will guide them.
Right.
And that requires a commitment to fostering a culture of research and innovation, giving researchers and entrepreneurs the space and support they need to push the boundaries.
Which is exactly what the BSC is doing. Building infrastructure, fostering collaboration, and promoting ethical AI development. They're creating an environment where innovation can thrive.
And it's not just about the tech world.
Right.
Schneepat goes on to explore how AI is impacting other areas like cultural heritage and even social media.
Okay.
I think that's where we should head next.
Let's delve into that. So we've talked about supercomputers and all these partnerships, and it's really cool. But what I like about Schneepat's essay is that he doesn't just, stay in the technical stuff.
Yeah.
He brings up these interesting examples of how AI is being used in these unexpected places.
Yeah.
And he starts with cultural heritage. Like he talks about the Museo Nacional del Prado in Madrid.
Yeah, that's a great example of how AI can actually help us understand and appreciate art better. Schneepat talks about how they're using natural language understanding, or NLU,
Right.
to help visitors understand all the text that goes along with the artwork. So imagine you're standing there in front of a masterpiece.
Right.
And you have AI kind of whispering insights and context into your ear.
That would change the whole museum experience. It'd be like having a personal art historian.
Exactly.
Right there with you.
Right there with you. And Schneepat points out that it's not just for the casual visitor, it's actually helping the museum's own experts in their research.
Wow. So AI is working alongside these art historians.
Yeah. Well, NLU can analyze tons of text, spotting patterns and connections that humans might miss.
Mm.
It's like giving researchers this whole new tool to unlock the secrets that are hidden within the museum's collection.
That's really cool. And Schneepat doesn't stop there. He even talks about how BSC is developing these AI models that can detect objects in the artwork.
Wow.
They analyze descriptions and can identify like tiny details that our eyes might even miss.
It's like giving art historians superhuman vision.
Right?
These models could lead to all sorts of new discoveries about how we interpret art. Who knows what hidden symbols or techniques we might find.
It's really fascinating how AI is bridging that gap between technology and art.
Mm-hmm.
But then Schneepat switches gears and talks about another area where AI is having a huge impact. Social media.
Yeah, that's a space that's both really exciting and kind of a little bit scary.
Right.
Social media platforms are using AI for everything,
Yeah.
personalizing our feeds to moderating content. It's really shaping our experience online.
It really is. And Schneepat brings up some of those AI-driven features that are becoming really common now, like voice commands and autoplay and even expanded voice messaging.
Mm.
And on the surface, these things seem like they're just, making our lives easier.
Yeah.
More connected.
Yeah, but there's like a flip side to all this convenience.
Right.
These features make us ask questions about privacy control and the power that these platforms have over how we interact online.
That's a really important conversation to be having right now. Schneepat also brings up the use of AI for content moderation, which is a really tricky issue. He talks about how machine learning is being used to automatically detect and remove harmful content like hate speech.
Yeah, it's such a complicated issue. There's no easy answers,
Right.
On the one hand, AI can help make online spaces safer, but there's always that risk of censorship and bias.
Mm.
It's a tough line to walk.
It really is. And then Schneepat gets into sentiment analysis,
Oh, yeah.
where AI is being used to analyze the overall feeling of user-generated content. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it neutral?
Yeah, it's really useful for businesses and marketers, but it also raises these concerns about surveillance and manipulation.
Right.
It makes you wonder, who's actually benefiting from all this data and at what cost.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Hmm.
Schneepat doesn't shy away from these tough questions. He wraps up his discussion on social media by mentioning this partnership between the BSC and OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT.
Right.
And that's a really interesting partnership because it focuses on using AI to improve journalism. They're looking at how AI can help with summarizing and analyzing content, which could free up journalists to focus on more in-depth reporting.
Yeah, that's a great example of how we can use AI to enhance what humans can do, not replace us.
Right, augment our abilities. And that brings us back to Schneepat's main point responsible AI development.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just build these powerful systems.
Right.
We have to think about how they're being used, what kind of impact they're having on the world.
Yeah, Schneppat's essay really gives us a glimpse into this whole world of AI and how the Barcelona Supercomputing Center is trying to shape its future. It's a future with lots of possibilities, but also lots of challenges.
Definitely. And those challenges are something we all need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Jörg-Owe Schneppat gives us a lot to think about, and hopefully this deep dive is giving you some new insights into this really complex and always evolving world of AI.